Okay, so to get started on making the sauce, you're going to need to buy peppers. Before manhandling peppers, you want to make sure you're wearing gloves. The peppers that I'm using are the New Mexico chilies and the chili pasilla. I had bought 2 bags of the New Mexico chilies and 1 bag of the pasilla. The pasilla chilies look like raisins, like large raisins. They have sort of a raisiny smell, but still spicy like chilies. And the New Mexico chilies are more reddish in color, like a light red. Okay, so I set myself up a little workstation here. What I'm doing is I'm taking the tops off of the chilies, this part. Just pop it off like that. I have a little waste bag here this is the bag from the chilies. And then, if you guys could see that, I dump the seeds into here. I try to crack it open without ripping it too much. Just like if you shake it and you hear some seeds in there, you want to get those out. This one I could see the seeds. You see that? So just pop it open and dump out the seeds. A lot of people actually soak their chilies before they take the seeds out. The reason why I'm doing this is because I'm actually going to toast the chilies first, because it'll give it more depth in the sauce that I'll be making. And you don't want to have the seeds in there when you're toasting it in the oven, because the oils from the seeds will make the chilies too spicy. It's really hard to breathe with that in your kitchen when you leave it in there. So that's it. You just pop them out all like that. And then if I want a little more heat in my meat, not my sauce, I'll add some of these seeds to the meat while it's cooking. But if not, then that's trash as well. So there you have it. These are the chilies. They're going to go into an oven at about 325 for about 10 minutes. You will definitely smell them, but you don't want to leave them to go too long because they're dry chilies and they'll burn. You just want to toast them up slightly just to bring out a little bit more of the oils in the skin, but not seeds. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, now to start the chili portion, the soaking part. You guys might have seen my, pressure cooker videos where I made the pulled pork and the shredded beef video. What I do is, my husband's a big meat eater, but I myself am not. So what I'll do is I'll make up a bunch of meat, and then the juice that's left over, I don't usually have a use for, except for at the end of the year when we make tamales. So close to the end of the year, when I know that I'm going to be making some meat in my pressure cooker before tamales, what I'll do is I'll take that juice and I will cool it off. I will skim the fat and put it in a Ziploc bag and put it in the freezer so that I can have that for the flavorings of my tamales. This is 2 1-gallon bags and half of a gallon bag of the juice left over from making shredded beef. So that's what that is. And it's the same seasonings that you see in that video. So nothing different. Anyways, I've defrosted it and I'm now starting to bring it to a boil. And what you want to do is You want to put your chilies into that pot to get soft, and then you want to pull them out. You want to pull just the chilies out, and a little bit of that juice, and blend it up in the blender. I don't know if you guys could see that. No, it's too much. So yeah, so those are just going to sit there. You just want to make sure it's covered by liquid. Bring it to a boil, and then cover it with a lid. You bring it to a boil, cover it with a lid, and let it sit for a half an hour. If you choose not to, like if you're just going to make tamales and you're not going to make the meat like I made before, you could very easily use just some fresh cold water and just pour it in over the chilies. That would be fine. In fact, I'll show you in a little clip how you can do that. Okay, so it's been 10 minutes and I roasted my peppers, and now I've put them into a large saucepan. You need to cover it with water and bring that water to a boil. This is to soften the chilies. Just enough to cover it. I can't reach my spit. Okay. You hear those are still crunchy. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to bring this to a boil, and then you're going to turn off the heat, put a lid on, and let that sit for about a half an hour, and then you'll come back and check it, and they'll be very pliable. Then you can go ahead and take the chilies out and put them into a blender, which I'll show you next. Okay, so now I've softened the chilies and I've strained them. These are the pastilla chilies softened, and here's the New Mexico chilies. And I have all the juice in the pan, but I reserved 2 cups so far to blend this together. And I'm gonna add all these to my blender, and then I'm gonna add a little bit of liquid. And these are actually cool, so I don't have to worry about it spitting out or anything. But then I'll blend it up, and then I'll show you the consistency of what it needs to be. Okay, in my pot, I have about 2 tablespoons of the fat left over from the meat. I'm using this instead of oil. You could use oil. Thing I didn't say about if you're going to use the water for the sauce instead of using the juices from the meat, it's not going to come out as flavorful, so you're going to have to add some spices. If you want to know what those spices are, inbox me or leave a comment and I'll let you know. Okay, so I'm just going to make a little roux. That was about 2 tablespoons of the fat and about 2 tablespoons of the flour. This is going to be the thickener for the sauce. Okay, now to show you the consistency of the sauce. So I've already blended and strained it once, but I'm going to go ahead and do it again, just in case I missed anything that didn't go through. So that's about the consistency that you're looking for. It's It's already sauce-like, but it is a little bit runnier than I want. It's actually perfect right now to say that, because once I add it to the meat is going to absorb a lot of the sauce as well. It's the fastest way for me to strain it. Okay, that is how you do that. If this sauce is too thick, I still have juices on reserve. I have about 5 cups of juice left over. You see that? I don't know if you guys can see that. It has like a sheen. There you go. It has like a sheen to it. You want that. This looks good. I'm going to give it a little taste. This is perfect. Okay, so I have to clean up this mess first before I get started on the meat and stuff, but this is the sauce portion of making tamales. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is take your corn husks out of the bag and soak them in warm water to make them soft and wash them off. Okay, so here we are, we're putting the tamales together. I'm going to show you the meat. I had put in this vat the chili sauce, and it was about 4 liters. I added the meat to it, which made it around closer to 6 liters. And this is the texture that you're looking for. You hear that? It's juicy meat. Okay. And then here we have our little, the corn husks, they're wiping the masa on it very thin. And then I'm filling it up with the meat. The small ones just get like 1 scoop in the middle, and like the larger ones have 2 scoops in it. And I'll show you how to wrap those up. Here we're using papers, and for the larger ones, like that. Did you see that? Wrap it like that. And like that. And we already have a bunch of them done out. We have about 50 of those done up. And then like the smaller ones, I just wrap it like that. And again. And then in half. And that's it. And then the next part I'm going to show you is how you guys will cook it. Okay, so it's been 2 hours and the tamales are fully cooked. Now, how you know this for sure is you need to check. If you're filling the pot completely, not just with the little small batch that I had put in, if you're filling your pot completely, you might have to cook it for an additional 30 minutes or so. But what you're looking for when you check it is you're going to open up the paper this is still very hot because I had just taken it out. So what you're looking for is that when you peel back the corn husk, that the masa doesn't stick to it. It's okay if it sticks a little bit, but because it's okay that it sticks a little bit because it actually needs to dry a little bit, and the rest of them will continue to cook. So if you see here, you guys can see that it's still a little wet, a little bit, but that's gonna dry and it's gonna be perfect. That tells me that the other ones are perfect and that they're done. After 1 hour, I took some boiling water and added it to the pot so that it wouldn't drop the temperature in the tamales and would continue to steam. So I checked it every half an hour, and then after 1 hour, I filled it with more water up to the top of the steam basket, like I had in the beginning. What was I gonna say? And then that cooked for 2 hours, and then. And I wanted to tell you that there are different ways of cooking it. They actually have, you could buy online, or if you go to Mexico or if you're from Mexico, they have tamale pots that have the specific steamer inside the pot, which you'll never run out of water. You won't have to keep checking it. So there's a special pot for it, but you don't need it. You could get the steamer basket like I use, or what my mother-in-law does is she'll just take like a piece of aluminum foil and crumple it up and put it in the center and then build her tamales around that, like in the teepee form like I had. And she'll just boil it like that. And she puts the water in the bottom and it doesn't get inside because of the papers and stuff. But I mean, I feel safer if I put the water underneath the steam basket. I don't have to worry about if the water is going to burn out and smoke up the tamales or anything like that. So it's been a couple minutes. Go ahead and check it. Yeah, see? It pulls away all by itself. That is perfect. I'll cut that open and show you guys what it looks like. Now these are pork tamales, but you guys could use any meat you want. In fact, you don't even have to put meat in it. I think this one has cheese in it. Yeah, it has a little bit of cheese. But you could, you guys could see that. You could make them sweet, and we made sweet tamales before. I don't particularly like the sweet tamales, but I could give you guys a recipe if you guys want that. Give us a taste. These have so much flavor. They are so good. So I hope you guys give this recipe a try. If you guys are making tamales for a party or whatever. If you guys have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them below. Thank you so much for watching.